Welcome back to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, including today, YouTube TV adding a much requested feature. We'll take a look at everything that's new there. I think a lot of people are going to like this one, but there's a few catches with it. Comcast also was absolutely devastated by its subscriber losses and internet losses. Cord Cutting 2.0 is coming for Comcast. We'll tell you why that's so dangerous for the company, and Spectrum will be reporting their numbers today, so make sure to head over to cordcuttersnews.com to find those. And also, the Roku Channel is now the third largest streaming service on Roku. We'll tell you what's happening there, why that's so important. These stories and a lot more coming up in a quick moment. First though, as always, you can find a link to every story I talk about in the show notes and in the first pinned comment. Check it out down below. If you're new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button or hitting that thumbs up. Doing one or both lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here, so they recommend our videos to more people. With that said, hey, before we get into it, I'm back in the studio. It's good to be here. It's hard to believe I woke up this morning in New York, had breakfast in New York City, had lunch in my hometown here in Michigan. Air travel, for all of its downside, it still amazes me how I can go clear across country, halfway across country, so quickly. Same thing when I lived in Texas. So it's good to be back. We're back in the studio. No other trips right now coming up anytime soon. But thanks for everybody's support as I was traveling recently. All right, let's dive into it. YouTube TV made an announcement yesterday on its 20th anniversary. Now, it's been over 20 years now since YouTube had its very first video uploaded. And in the set of announcements they made about it was one about YouTube TV. And with this, they announced they're going to be making improvements to multi-view. Now, we told you this was coming some time ago, as Roku now has expanded the ability for customizable build your own multi-view. Roku partnered with Fubo. They built it. Fubo was the first to use it. Now it seems that YouTube TV is going to, and will allow you to not just have sports multi-view, which they've had for a while, but those were pre-created, where you got to pick from a list of different multi-views, and then they just streamed it from them to you. Now you'll be able to build your own, and not just for sports or news. There'll be other non-sports, non-news channels included. Now, YouTube TV says this will be rolling out over the next few months, slowly expanding it as they test it out with different user groups. Unfortunately, you can't request to be included in one of the beta trials of this, but they do hope to have this available to everybody soon. Now, this is great news. Like I said, though, Fubo has already had it for a little while, but it helps it stand out from Hulu Plus Live, Sling, and others that do not have this feature. We'll keep a very close eye on it, but if you're a YouTube TV customer, the standard multi-view will continue to work. This new customizable will come soon. Details on when and what devices are limited, but I'm hearing that Roku will probably be one of the very first, with it using the new Roku multi-view that's built into the OS out there. All right, let's keep moving along. Cord Cutting 2.0. Now, 1.0 was canceling cable television, and 2.0 now is canceling cable internet and breaking completely free. These are the people who are so sick of their internet and cable television provider that they don't want anything to do with them. Not just getting rid of the TV, but they want to completely break free of it and get their internet from another provider. Well, it seems that almost 200,000 people did that in the first quarter to Comcast, with 199,000 internet customers and 427,000 TV customers canceling Comcast's Xfinity internet and television in just 3 months. That's absolutely crazy, much higher than, I'll be honest, than I expected, and it seems like a lot of other people expected too. This comes as things like 5G home internet has seen growth. Verizon just reported a nice jump of 5G home internet customers, and AT&T just reported a lot of growth with its fiber customers also. I expect T-Mobile to also report a nice little jump in their 5G home internet customers. A few things to keep an eye on here. Comcast is pretty well diversified. Even if Comcast internet and cable TV really gets hit hard in the future, they have their whole studio and entertainment business to lean on. Others like Spectrum, not so much. Now, Comcast said a lot of the right things in their earnings call. We hear people's complaints. We're addressing the price issues and other pain points, I think they called them, that people had. And you're seeing that. They recently rolled out new data cap free internet plans. They've also announced, that $30 a month discounted internet plan also that doesn't have data caps, and others. Price lock guarantee for 5 years. I just think there's too little too late. Comcast and other internet providers felt so secure, much like they felt so secure in television, that I don't think they treated their customers as well as they could have or maybe should have. And now, even though that they're making changes, it's like that friend who keeps burning you, saying they're going to become a better person. They don't, and at some point you're just kind of like, hey, it's nice, I'll see you around town, but maybe we're not hanging out like we used to. I think we all know a person like that. And it may be true here with Comcast, even though they finally have, dropping things like data caps and giving you a 5-year price lock and trying to be more transparent in fees. For a lot of people, you're like, too little, too late. Where was that 10 years ago when you didn't have to do it? Now that you do, it feels hollow. Excuse me. So we'll keep a close eye on this, but I suspect we're going to see subscriber numbers continue to fall. Some analysts had hoped that this year Spectrum or Comcast would see their internet customers grow again. I'm a little leery of that. Maybe you have a quarter here where it's positive, but I think overall through the year we're probably going to see negative growth as people are just fed up, ready to move on. All right, next story up. Now, I just came back from the big Roku event. We talked about the new hardware, the new projectors, TVs, streaming players, minor changes to the home screen and user interface. Those are so minor, I don't think most people will honestly even know. But one thing that was announced during the event was that the Roku Channel is now the third most popular streaming service on Roku players. That's important for a reason, I'll tell you why. Now, they did not decline or say which was number 1 and number 2. But with this, the Roku Channel now has the third most popular on the streaming player that over half of all broadband homes in America. So of all the homes in the United States that have high-speed internet, over half of them own a Roku. And probably the majority of them use the Roku Channel to watch stuff. This is so important for Roku as over half of their income now comes from subscriptions and from ads, and the Roku Channel is a big driver of that. It'll be interesting to see what number 1 and number 2 are. Of course, Roku was very coy about saying what that was and declined to kind of give that information. But it is interesting to see Roku really trying to move away from hardware. Just as they had this big hardware event, a lot of the changes in the OS was about pushing content discovery, getting you to watch more content that has their ads on it, or subscribe through the services that they offer. Those are the two main ways Roku now makes revenue. Not that they're getting rid of hardware. You see them getting into projectors with Roku's built in. Really, it's just about getting Roku in as many places as possible so they can show you as many ads as possible and sell you as many subscriptions as possible with it. So keep that in mind. But let me know, do you use the Roku Channel? Do you like it? Leave me a comment, let me know. All right, next up, Gilmore Girls has a new home on free over-the-air television. All right, you ready for feeling a little bit old today? It's been coming up soon is the 25th anniversary of Gilmore Girls, but Start TV will be the new home for free over-the-air versions of the Gilmore Girls starting later this month with this, and you'll be on May 12th, early next month. It's hard to believe April's almost over. But you'll be able to watch it streaming for free or airing for free online there. And lastly, Amazon's home internet service is supposed to launch some new satellites next week. And finally, after many delays, get some satellites in space to start producing it. Now a new report from Bloomberg says Amazon's home internet service, which they had hoped to launch satellites last year. They did do test satellites, but not the mass production ones they wanted. And then start beta testing, selling service to some people this year, is very behind on its plans. Not just on launching satellites, which it's run into multiple delays and issues. Honestly, many of which, if not almost all of which, are not Amazon's problem. A lot of them come from third-party providers that were unable to get the satellites up in space when they promised due to a variety of issues. But also in the manufacture of the satellites. Amazon needs to get thousands of these satellites into space, and they hope to get over 3,000 of them in space to make this work. But it's reported that they are way behind on building them. And in order to meet critical government contracts, they need to get 1,600 into space by next summer, so summer of 2026. There's a real question if they will get that. Now, it's entirely possible that Amazon will get a delay for that, but Amazon's working very hard to, what they say, build one of the most advanced internet providers. Well, I do love Starlink, and I know many people who use it who are very happy with it. I'm a big fan of competition, and I firmly believe that when competition comes in, it's better for the end consumer to have more than one option for a service. You see that with home internet now. Now that Comcast and Spectrum have real competition for home internet, what's happened for Comcast? Data caps are going away, better plans, better options, and you see customers say, well, I'm unhappy with Comcast, I'm leaving. I hope Amazon's successful, and I hope some of these others that are looking at launching a satellite-based internet are also successful. Well, you may not care because you may be like me and have gig internet from Comcast or Spectrum and then a fiber option and maybe a 5G internet option. A lot of people aren't. Even though I have all those options, less than 20 minutes down the road from me, I have friends who have none of them, and they use a satellite service and are very happy with it. So I hope Amazon's successful in this just to bring competition. But there is a real question over if they'll meet the deadlines and if the federal government's FCC will give them extensions on it. We'll have full coverage over at corecarsnews.com, but let me know. Are you keeping an eye on Amazon's internet? They promise to be more price competitive than SpaceX's Starlink. I'll believe it when I see it, but their advertising speed's up to 1 gig. Pricing unknown at this time. Well, that's it for today. Have a great weekend. I'll be back with more videos this week. Hopefully not getting sick. I feel just a little under the weather. We'll see what happens. But I'll have some more videos this weekend. I'll see you back on Monday with another Cord Cutting Today. But until then, take care. Be safe. I'll talk to you all again real soon.